#1 hair bestie, Tang.
Raise your hand, I want to see it. Alright? So today we're going to learn a lot about it. I'm going to share with you a little bit of my story. How many of you guys follow me on Instagram? Woo! How about Facebook? Maybe YouTube? Right? So Instagram, social media is amazing. But through this, it has kind of make us kind of insecure sometimes, right? All of us are looking at the comments and, you know, watching people judge us sometimes. Don't you guys feel that way?
Sure
do. It's hard. Yeah?
I kill them.
It's true. So, when creating my vanity color, okay, it's not that easy. It took over a year and a half working with my chemist. So let me tell you what makes the color line so special. Okay? It's customized. A chemist is not a colorist. They don't know the underlying pigments of hair, right? And I always compare it to like a singer and a producer, right? So the artist is like a singer and the chemist is like a producer. You need someone to collaborate with to make music, to make art, right? So when working with them, they didn't understand when creating rose gold, you don't literally just make rose and then gold put it together. You get kind of like a coppery color. It was a struggle creating rose gold color. It was the first demi-permanent rose gold color out there, so it's very, very difficult. So that's how we're able to create the rose color that you see today. Have you guys tried it yet?
Yes!
I wanted to name it something very unique, our color line, my identity. I wanted to resonate and build a community that's never there before. It's more than just marketing. It's more than just, oh, let me tell you the pH and the technology behind the color line, because the color line is great. But I want to build a community of hair besties supporting one another online through Facebook groups, through Facebook, through Instagram, through YouTube. Before, a lot of hairstylists didn't want to share the formulas. And I used to be an educator for another hair company for about 7 years. And I was told that I couldn't dress the way I dress. You know, my nipples were popping through my shirt. My pants was too tight. But that was who I am.
Sure is.
It took me 27 years to be comfortable in my own skin. And I'm 36 now. I think we all have insecurities.
Come on.
We're all searching for our identity, right? But now more than ever, because of social media, everything's about how many followers you have. And you don't even know who's buying them or not, right? Nothing is real anymore. Everything is facade, right? As I start growing, people start judging me just by my numbers. It's like I have a tattoo on my forehead. I want to be treated like a human being. I want to be a hairstylist. I am a hairstylist. We're all hairstylists. We're artists, right? So don't ever forget that. We have all these awards and these things that we participate in. And it starts putting us in competition with each other versus building a community. Don't you guys agree? Right? Our validation starts with ourselves. You have to know your worth, right? The mere fact that you're here, passionate, alive, doing hair, this is amazing, and this is something we should celebrate and be so happy about. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah!
And
Celebrate together!
Color line identity, because it's more than just a color line. It's about celebrating us as hairdressers and as human beings, more than anything. Yes?
Yes!
So let's get started on telling you guys about the models, okay? I know that everybody thinks it's just rose gold and silver because everybody sees silver hair on my Instagram. But I want to show you guys that with my vanity color, we have beautiful natural colors as well, yeah? So we have brown beige, which is the BB series, Okay, we have a new lightener coming out called Stroke 7.
Ooh, stroke.
Right? Which is a rose clay balayage lightener. So how many guys tried Big 9? Raise your hand. Big 9 is our cream lightener that lifts up to 9 levels, and then we have Magnum 8, which is our lavender powder lightener that lifts up to 8 levels. You could create a hybrid that mixes them together, but I wanted something more. I wanted our clay lighter to be something special, right? So Stroke 7 is unique, and it's coming real soon, all right? This is the first time here I ever talk about on stage. In just a few months, we're gonna launch it, right? And you can mix it with Big 9 to create a stronger clay-based lightener, right? Can we pop up her before picture? Okay, no, her before.
Wow.
So there's her before. She's beautiful, right? But she needs some highlights popped in. So we use Stroke 7, and you can take a picture of it here, her formula, and let's go to her second slide, and her in-between process. So we lifted her up there, we want to bring brightness up, and then I want to shadow it back down using 7 BB and 9 BB. Let me just kind of clear hair in the front here so you guys can see. Look at this. Isn't this gorgeous?
Yes.
Right,
So
so
pretty.
natural, so healthy. I believe that it should be seamless, right? No stripes. It almost looks like she's born with it, with just some shimmer through her fringe, and then all around, right? You guys like it?
Love it!
7 BB, 9 BB, brown beige, guys. Check it out.
Brown
All right?
beige.
And the last thing I like to say is that when I tone or glaze the hair, I always use demi-permanent color. All right? And the reason why I use demi-permanent color is because it doesn't disturb the base. With my demi-permanent color, you get to mix it 1:2 or 1:1 ratio. 1:2 has a pH of 6.1 to 6.4, which is very acidic for a demi-permanent color. It seals the cuticle after you lighten it, right? And then deposits the color without lifting the base. When you mix it 1:1 ratio, it has a pH of 6.6 to 6.9. So it's slightly higher, you have more opacity and pigment, but it's still under the pH of 7, right? So you don't break the base, okay? So let's talk about our next natural color here. Okay, this is the IG series, not for Instagram, but Ice Gold. All right, so my model here is a virgin, okay? She's a virgin, we love virgins, right? Her hair is very, very fine.
Even made her
Very fine. So I told her that if we highlight her hair and blonde it up a little bit, it's going to increase the volume, right? It's going to make it appear fuller, and she loves it. Let's show her before. As you can see here, her hair is very, very fine. We use Magnum 8, and then we glaze it through with 9 IG, with 6 IG on the routage, right? Just create that shadow to blend any stripe that you see, and then 9 IG through the mid shaft, and any parts of the ends I add clear. Crystal clear. And the reason why I use crystal clear is you always want those ends to be slightly brighter around the face and slightly brighter through the ends, right? Because it draws attention. It's almost like when you're doing makeup, you're contouring and highlighting, right? When you highlight, it expands,
Language I understand.
right? And when you have darkness, it compresses. So that's what I want to do. I want to frame her face, draw attention to her length to give her that expansion. And this is the Ice Gold series. So if you guys have not tried the Ice Gold series, I encourage you to do it because we're more than just rose gold and dusty lavender. The natural series are beautiful. Don't you guys agree?
Yes!
Yeah.
Gorgeous!
Yes.
Sachet.
All right. So, all right. Let's come over here. Hello, darling.
Hello, darling.
Yes. So we utilize our rose gold series. Okay. She has so much hair. Wait until you see the picture I posted of her hair on Instagram. It's insane. It's like we made it so big. It's crazy. Let's take a look at her before picture.
Wow.
All right. Well, she's already blonde, but in the picture it looks a little bit brighter because we have her under the ring light. You guys know lighting is everything, right? How many of you guys own a ring light? You know, it's a struggle taking pictures. I swear. And then I tried to take her outside with the humidity here. Forget it. I was like, oh, let's go outside and take a picture. And all of a sudden, flyaways. Her hair flattened. and then all of a sudden my hair stuck to my forehead. I was like, okay, let's go back inside. It was a struggle, wasn't it a struggle? It was a struggle. We couldn't take pictures anywhere. Anyway, so we lifted her hair up. Do we have an in-between shot? Okay, so we lifted her hair up here with Magnum 8. I left a little bit of her natural routage. Okay, she has a little bit of a natural gingery tone. So the reason why I chose the formula I chose through here is the 7RG has a little bit of a violet tone to it to neutralize that copper that naturally occurs at a level 7 and 8. And that's why if you guys try 7RG, some of you guys may have seen it look a little bit more violet when you put it on hair that's been pre-lightened to a level 10. Have you guys had that experience?
Yes.
Raise your hand. That's why it's calibrated to deposit the right amount of pigment for that color at that level, which has the remaining contribution to support the 7RG. And that's why when you look at her routage, it looks like the perfect rose brown. 7RG looks beautiful on hair that is around 7 and 8. That's how you get that rose brown color. Do you guys like that?
Yes. Oh my God.
And then through her ends here, we did 9RG, and then we did 9RG with clear. Can we zoom down on her tips? Tips, not tips. Not titties. Okay, maybe my titties, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys like my shirt?
I
Yes. It's not tight
Can you
enough.
see through it?
Not enough.
Alright, where do I go? Where do I go? Oh, right
See your
here.
shirt.
I love that cape.
There's a hero.
No.
Alright guys, take a look at this color. Isn't it insane?
Pearl.
Okay, so we just launched our Superpower collection, alright? It's our direct dye series. We also previously had the vibrant pastels. After I lifted up her hair, let's look at her chart, her before picture here. She came in with some major breakage, okay? This happens all the time. Our clients come into us, or models, or whatever, she has all these breakage. So I have to be careful where to place the color. Her dream color is to have silver, but I know if I put silver in her hair, if it doesn't look healthy, it'll draw attention to all the breakage. With silver hair, it comes with a stereotype of having breakage. So it's you know what, we're not going to do silver. Let's shadow root you down with our charcoal, okay, our direct dye, vibrant pastel charcoal. And then as she turns here, we did lavender lust. I injected a little bit of our superpower, purple raven, just about an inch in. And then pink glow, just about a dot of, not pink glow, I'm sorry, pink diamond. And then a dot of magenta magic, just to have a little more potency. And through the ends, I swoosh our cosmic coral in. Now the cosmic coral is not yet available here in the US, it's only international, but it will be soon. But what I love about the cosmic coral is that it has a lot of iridescence, but you can amplify it by putting a dot of the crimson spell. Do you guys like this color?
Yeah.
Honestly, guys, every time I do this type of icy color on the ends, everyone always thinks it's fake or Photoshop. I don't know why, because it's almost it's coveted. It's hard to get. Don't you guys agree?
Yes.
It's all about lifting the hair to a level 10, which I'm going to show you guys how I do it here, okay? So how many guys love doing reds? Raise your hand here. I feel like reds always get hated on for some reason. Have you guys noticed that?
Yes.
I think that sometimes you got to embrace it,
Oh,
right? So take a look at our red here. Superpower. All right? I want to show you guys that direct dyes doesn't have to be stereotyped to, punky or whatever. Not that there's anything wrong with that, because I have that side of me in me too. But I feel like it can be wearable, right? It can be blended in with balayage and highlights, and your clients still want it. Because every time I meet a hair bestie, some hair besties would tell me, oh, my clients don't want pink and green and purple. I was like, you could make it wearable. It doesn't have to be oh, I don't have that type of clientele. For example, you can use mint to neutralize pink tones. If your client comes in with pinky hair they're trying to get rid of, you can neutralize it using the direct dye mint or Arctic blue. You can neutralize tones with it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I do that to my hair. Sometimes I'm in the shower, I feel like, why did they get brassy? Oh, I went tanning, and I went swimming, and I did all this mess. So I go, ooh, I'm just gonna massage some mint of steel in my hair, and it completely neutralize it, or use the charcoal. That's how you can utilize our direct dye and do so many things with it that your clients will ask for. So take a look at her hair here. So we balayage her first, using stroke 7. Do you guys like that name, by the way?
I love it.
Because, you know, when you balayage, you have to stroke, right? So that's why I call it that. And I mixed it with our new thick developer, right? That's the name of the new activator, by the way, it's thick. Because it has a thick consistency. So take a screenshot or picture of this to document it. Thick with 2 C's. Okay? So then I glaze over her with Crimson Spell. So when I turn her head here, I did Crimson Spell with Blue Mystique. That way it mutes out the brightness of Crimson Spell. I could create like a shadow with that, with the blue. And I did Crimson Spell by itself. And then I melted in Magenta Magic and blurred the Crimson Spell into it to create this seamless red color that has no demarcations. Right? So it looks wearable, but yet bright. Do you guys like that concept?
Yes.
So I have a collection that's coming out soon. Can we play the Naked video? Well, not coming out soon, it already came out. Naked, okay? Can we play that video just because it's exciting?
Oh, Lord.
So let me tell you, the Naked collection is amazing. How many of you guys have played with it? Okay, so the Naked collection has a cool beige mauve tone to it. It's very wearable. In the makeup world, right, you see makeup palettes with like this naked tone. It's so beautiful, but for some reason, we don't really know how to harness it in the world of hair color, right? So taking off of our dusty lavender, silver smoke, rose gold, you're able to mix the naked with them and create so many wearable tones your clients can wear and love. So the reason why I call it naked also is because with my identity, all right, it's about knowing who you are, so you have the courage to do anything you dream of, right? But just because you know who you are and your identity doesn't mean you're naked with yourself. Naked is about being honest. It's about not being afraid of who you are. And I feel like it's so important that just because you know who you are, don't hide it. Be proud of it and show it off. Don't you guys agree?
Yeah.
With that being said, Ariana, would you come out?
Woohoo!
Not Ariana Grande, but Ariana.
Woohoo!
Ariana, okay, you guys seen her in my videos, right?
Yes! Her hair's so shiny.
Okay, so have you guys seen the video on YouTube I did when I flat ironed the hair and the color burns off?
Yes.
Okay, how many of you guys have clients that you freshly glaze or tone, whether it's like level 9B or silver, whether you accidentally turn on the iron way too high, or maybe they went home and they took a hot shower, they went tanning, they have hot sex, you know, and then they decided to flat iron their hair a couple times, and then their hair turns yellow. Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
And the more you tone their hair, the more dingier it gets,
Yeah.
right? So I don't want anyone to think that this is anything brand specific. I think it's really important that this is across the board of hair color. It doesn't matter if you're using my identity or if you're using any brand, okay? This could happen to any brand. Every color is sensitive to high heat. It's almost like jumping in lava. You know, you're gonna die. You're gonna die. Okay, so I'm gonna turn her on up to 455 degrees. Okay, so this iron is really hot. And most of the time when we turn on our irons, how many times you guys just turn on high heat and start flat ironing? Anyone? Most people do. Some irons don't have temperature control, right? So let's put both of these up. Okay? So I'll flat iron this. We're going to do 5 seconds, okay? So we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Dead.
Can you guys see that?
Wow.
The color changed instantly, right? And that's just 5 seconds. And this is not my identity, by the way. This is just not a color line. I just want to show you guys that it doesn't matter. I think when rose gold and silver smoke first came out, everybody said, oh, it fades so fast. Kai Tang sucks. You know? But I was like, really? Every color line fades. You see this?
Yep.
Every color line, right? And you know what's crazier? I want to show you something. This is 5 seconds, but imagine 20 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Right? So now it's even more yellow. So think about over time, if you iron your hair 20 times on high heat, what it can do. So people would tell me on YouTube, well, nobody holds the iron in one spot for a long time. Yes, they do. Curling irons. So when you curl the hair, you put it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you hold it for a few minutes. Don't you think that's the same thing? So you're burning the color off. So let's say you do go by really fast. So take a look at the ends here so we could hold it up just a teeny bit higher. Okay. So you can see that it's starting to fade slightly. Do you see that? Okay, so 2. See that? Do you guys see it starting to fade slowly?
Yeah.
How many of you guys have experienced this before? Raise your hand. Right? And what do we do as human beings?
Panic.
We blame the product company. We blame the product. In fact, as humans, we never want to blame ourselves. We never do. It's you, and you, and you, you. Does that make sense, guys? When we take a step back and say, how can we improve this? I curl all of these girls' hair with just 320. Did you know that? Just 320. All right. So let's bring out Nora.
Nora!
Nora!
Nora! Nora! Nora!
Okay, so we're gonna do a demo here. So models take one step back, and Emma, come forth. So I'm gonna do a quick demo for you guys. Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay, do we have something for her to sit on? You can sit on the floor, or you can just do like a little thing for me here. All right, so something exciting is coming. I want to show you guys. We have a new brush coming. It's in collaboration with Framework. This is a Nice Make My Identity brush. What's really cool about it is it's nice and jagged. If you guys can see it, can you guys see the jagged tips? So it's not straight across, so you're able to feather more when you're doing certain applications, right? So this is coming really soon as well. And then you also get a new color bowl that you can put the tab in, so you can see what color you're using, and then connect the bowls together, okay? And it's rose gold, because you guys know I love rose gold color. All right, so our first demo, I'm just gonna turn her around. All right, you ready, girl? Turn around, okay. Okay.
So creepy.
How many of you guys love to sing out there? Raise your hand. Let's go karaoke together. All right.
I'll clap for y'all.
Okay.
Have you guys been to the booth yet? The Guys Hang My Identity booth? Anyone raise your hand? Okay, we have an amazing education team. Ashley Rocks is out there, paired by Christine is out there, and Corinne is out there. They're sharing their techniques using the colors. So if you guys have any questions with the color line up close with our amazing artistic team, please go to the booth and talk to them. They're amazing. All right? All right, so how many guys have done back home balayage, ombre techniques before? Raise your hand. Okay? So here are our struggles with it. So let me tell you our struggles. Okay? How do you retouch it? Have you guys ever had that? Your clients come in. How do you back comb it again without overlapping and causing damage? Anyone?
Yeah.
Anybody have that struggle? Okay, so some of my clients, go ahead and come over here. All right. That when they come back in, you have to know when they should come back in. All right? If they come back in too soon, you can cross the demarcation line and cause a lot of breakage. Okay? So I love to use a nice carbon comb with the teeth being really close. And what I do is I like to drag the nape area down lower. Right? And the reason why is that when the hair goes around the neck, it contours and outlines the jawline. When everything is way too blonde and you push it up way too high, what happens is now she's all blonde, it just looks rooty. It doesn't have that contour effect. So just think about this, it's just like makeup, right? We want to contour. We want to, make them have a jawline, especially when they're taking a selfie. No double chins. So what's your favorite thing about my Danny color, Nora?
I've had so many aha moments with especially our lighteners. I don't know who else can relate to this, but when you're doing highlights sometimes and everything's perfect, but when you take the foil out, there's like a brassy,
Yes.
line, that band, and you're like, what did I do wrong? Like you think you messed up, but it's not us. What happens is it's actually the fumes from the lightener that kind of discolor that orange line there. And when I used Big 9 and Magnum 8, we did a video on that with Amania, and it showed it was perfect. There was no orange line. So it's pretty amazing.
It is. So as you guys see here, I actually lift the hair up and I back comb it down first. So I'll do that one more time here so you guys can see. All right? I find that this helps a lot for when you have that situation, like how do you get the tangles out, right? I think we over back comb. I usually only press once and twice and I'm done. So I'll show you guys once again. Okay, I do the low ombre until I get up to the curvature of her occipital bone, and then I go up high, right? And this section is about 1 inch thick, right? So I elevate it up, all right? So think about when you cut hair. When you elevate the hair 180 and you cut the hair, you get maximum blending of the layers. Don't you agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah? So just like this, when you lift it up, you press it once. It's about holding on to the length. Hold on to the length so you can push back all the textured short pieces that you have texturized when you cut in or thin out. You're able to hold on to all the long hairs and draw attention to it. You never want to draw attention to the pieces you texturize because now they stand out and look like what? Breakage. Does that make sense?
Yes.
All right.
The other thing that you do that I really like, if you notice the way you're holding it, it creates a flat panel so it doesn't get ropey. Because when you gather the hair, it sticks together.
Yes, by that she means I don't hold it like this. You don't pinch it together. I hold it in a panel, just like this. So I hold it nice and flat, and then I press it up one more time again, right? Just one more time. Okay, just like that. And we're just using conditioner, by the way, so don't freak out. We're not bleaching her again. Okay. So Nora painted on the foil with what we'll call our imaginary Magnum 8, okay? And I'll lay it down. And then now it has something to adhere to. But I want to show you something. What I hate is when the pieces get ropey, right, when you put it on. So what I do is I take the comb and surface comb it. And just to kind of separate it, so you don't have to go back and forth, back and forth. And what I love to do, guys, with the brush in the bowl, instead of having it just laid and dipped inside the bowl, now it's all sludgy, right? What I like to do is scoop it from the side. Does that make sense? You scoop it, and it's a lot cleaner in application. So, let's just say you want to overlap her ends. Let's just say like her ends were level 9, and it's only here. And she says she wants it higher, and she wants it blonder. How do you tackle this without damaging her hair, right? So what I do is I paint the top, and then I will use another batch. Maybe this one is 20 volume, and this one is 30. So this one is 30, and I'll mix one that's 20 volume with Magnum 8, right? So I'll overlap that one, and what I'm gonna do is this time I'm gonna take the short foil, right? So I'm gonna lay the short foil over the top and expose her ends to open air. Because when it's open air, and it's cold. I mean, right now we have air conditioner on. All that affects how fast our hair lifts, right? So leaving the ends out allow you to monitor how fast it lifts. Because if it's already lightning, you can wipe it off immediately, but still have incubation with the natural hair that's up here. All right? You like that?
Yes.
I know, I always have aha moments when we're working together. It's the little details that make a big difference.
But what's really important, I want you guys to see is don't peek too much. Don't keep peeking because air gets inside. It's almost like you're baking brownies and then you keep opening the oven and then you watch it deflate. And then you try to close it back up. And it's not going to be the same. Just let it finish. Let it at least sit for 30 to 45 minutes and then you can go, ooh, okay. Does that make sense? All right. Did you guys like that little technique? I know that has been the biggest struggle for all of us. All right, so when I get up to the occipital, okay, where it curves, I'm going to take a thinner panel. So when you want to take a piece that goes higher up, this is going to mimic balayage, right? We love to do balayage with clay-based lighteners. However, we know that you can't get my hair up to a level 10. That's just the reality. You can't. It's going to be brassy, right? It is what it is. But sometimes we do want that underlying pigment. Like for our red here, I want to lift her up kind of a level 8 and then put the red over it because that's where red lives. But with her, I wanted higher contrast. Okay? So when you're dealing with hair that's slightly slippery, I would take a texture spray and mist it over because sometimes when you're trying to back comb the hair, it springs back. I mean, how many of you guys have that problem? Right? Just mist it with a little dry texture spray. Not wet, dry, right? So I'm able to pull it out like this. Okay, so think here, just like how we cut hair. We elevate 90, 45, 0, 180. When we cut hair, we know the elevations and what it does, right? Coloring hair is the same way. When you back comb the hair, do you want to elevate it? In which direction? How much blur do you want? The more elevation you have, the more blurring you're going to get. So if you're holding it 0 degrees and back combing up, you're still going to see a demarcation line. Does that make sense?
Wow.
So what I do is elevate it up, hit it from underneath, drag it down, hold it 45, and push that up as close to this recharge as possible. And notice that was only 2 push, right? I wasn't tugging and tugging. And now that we got Nora applied the lightener on here, sometimes we go into a V, depending on how much hair she has and how you want the effect to be. I could go up a lot higher, right? I could lay that down, right? And again, these brushes are coming out soon. You get a feathering effect as you lay it over, okay? But I still want to do the V. And I try my best not to just drop it in. I try my best to lay the brush on the bowl because it looks so much more clean and neat, right? Have you guys ever had it where it's all sludge all over? Have you? And sometimes it can accidentally get on the other parts of the hair as you're sectioning, and you go, oops, that was one end. You know, that's just a black spot, you know, someplace you don't want it to be when you're doing a retouch. So this is really important to just do your scoop as usual. And again, if you want to leave the ends out, you can do that as well. Like let's say her ends are light enough, you can feather it, and then you could just put the foil over. So another thing I want to show you guys, I find that's very important, is we're going to do a little face frame action here. I know this may sound kind of basic, if you will, but I believe that this is my favorite way of creating that big money piece that everybody wants, right? So I always joke around about it. Every time I think about money shots, I think about porn, right? Why did they call this money shot? I don't understand, but whatever. Somebody's going to turn it this way to the side. Okay. Here? Okay. So I always go parallel to the parting. Some people are a little bit more vertical. Some people is a little bit more diagonal. Right? So I'll show you what I do. I take thin pieces, because these are for people who want bright pops around their face, right? So when I hold it out, I don't do the dig. Like 1, 2, 3. When you do that, you get more of a checkerboard effect. You want to have more of a baby-like, natural effect, right? So I hold the hair out parallel, and I don't know what we would call it, but I just call it the swiggle, right? So I like to use the thinner rat tail comb so I can squiggle my way in there, right? So squiggle, 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 squiggle. So when you see that, you can't tell that it looks striking, right? It looks nice and blended. So instead of doing dig, squiggle. So you hold it straight and just go up and down versus digging. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
All right, so another thing that really helps me is instead of folding it in, I fold the foil out. And this helps you with paranormal activity situations. Have you guys had paranormal situations? Right? So the reason why this is so important is I'm going to show you here. And I want to show you techniques that you can actually utilize in the salon. Right? These are techniques that you are going to use in the salon every day versus showing you something you'll never use, right? So, again, when I close the foil, I don't crease it. Leaving this bubble is key here. If you crease it, you might have a line inside the hair that didn't get lightened, right? And then I fold it again, right? And again, I only press it down the center lightly, but don't squeeze this.
Love that.
Now, when you turn it back up, you can see that it slides just a titty bit right there, right? So you'll see me anchor it. Now this will fasten it so it's nice and tight. But take notice, I don't like to close the sides because with lightener, they need room to expand. And if you close the sides, it has no room to expand, it's gonna wanna go up. And that's where you get bleeded spots. You have to give room for oxidation. You have to give room for the product to breathe outwards. Right? Does that make sense, guys?
Brilliant.
So let's do about 3 of these, or 4. Right? So see that squiggle? And always thin sections. The key is thin sections. When you take such a thick section, you're not going to be able to penetrate through all that. Alright? It has to be thin. You want to be able to penetrate all the way through. Otherwise you'll get like orange pieces, and that's not cute. Right?
Right.
Okay, so I'll show you guys what I do. Her hair is a little bit finer and shorter around the face. So I'm going to do about 3 back to back, or maybe 4. And I'll show you guys what I like to do and how this really, really makes the piece pop around the face. So with her, I'm probably going to have to do 4 back to back. But you can see that if this was in the salon, I would move really, really quick, right? And I keep working parallel and I wrap it around her head going this way versus going horizontal. So think about foil placement, guys. If you go horizontal, you're going to see a line. If you go vertical, you're going to see a stripe because the hair is going to fall linear, right? So think about vertical, stripe, horizontal, blending, diagonal, it creates movement, right? So anytime it's diagonal forward or back, it moves and it blends. And we want to create that movement, okay? So I'll give you an example here that what if I was to fold the foil this way, because I know a lot of us fold it inwards, right? And I also believe that clean foils are a lot better than doing color correction, because you want to be able to trace your pattern and go back in. But if you're doing all this weird folding stuff, it's hard to reopen the foils and do what you need to do when you're doing color corrections. So okay, so we fold it out or in, right? And what happens is if you do this and you close the sides, now if it moves, you can't re-anchor it. So there's going to be bleeded spots. Now when you need to cross-check because of anything, what happens is you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do all this. And then by this point, the foil will slide. You will have more paranormal situations, right? So to prevent that, I do it this way. Cleanliness is so important, okay? So that's why I follow a certain pattern in all of the foiling techniques I do. So I'm going to do one more here, just so I can show you guys how I do the pop around the face. Because I know everybody wants that piece, so give it to them, okay? I always take a step back and look at the length, not, 3 back-to-back foils. That's not the case. Some people need 4, some people need 5, some people only need 2 or 3. The only way you can know is taking a step back, like so, and go, I want all of this blonde. So how much is all of that? So I open this up, I go, dang, this is her whole parietal area. I have to do back to back there. And then when I move to the back, I can skip an inch, and weave. Skip an inch and weave. Skip an inch and weave. Where here, I have to do back to back. Make sense? Now, because this is left out, I'm gonna hold it this way, okay? And I'm gonna back comb this up parallel to that parting of how we did the foils here. Back comb that up and get this piece to really pop. Yeah? You guys like that? And I'm telling you, this is the technique you will use forever for the rest of your life.
Yes.
Right? So at this point here, guys, I want to show you guys, I like to do the overlay. Just like that. And then the way we're going to process this is fold it back, just like so. And you would take a clip and pin her back so she can process. You know why we pin her back? Because if it sits on her face, that heat is going to touch the foil, her hair is going to be white, and it's going to start breaking off, and that's not cute. Yeah? So, my time is almost up.
Oh my
But
god.
if you guys aren't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe because there's a video every week, and there's going to be one that's going to be up tonight featuring our new superpower colors, okay? And follow me on
And
Instagram.
also, ring the bell. Click the bell because then you'll get notifications when the latest video is out.
We like free stuff.
Yes!